Okay, class, hello. Today we have your finals. We have Q&As only, so make sure you speed build. You have officer on your 120 Q&A number 1. Capitalize it, South Barkley Police Station, and that's it. So this is going to be test number 1, 120 final for 5 minutes, and it does start in the middle, okay? Just have to make sure everything's... Just for the record, officer, I know you were here yesterday during the deposition of your brother, so you heard the admonishments that I made. But I just have to go over them quickly for you.
Okay.
Have you ever had your deposition taken before?
Yes.
So you understand the nature and purpose of a deposition.
Yes, I do.
You are under oath, and the court reporter is taking down everything that you are going to say, and if you later make any changes to what you said here today, I have a right to mention those changes to the court. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
If you don't understand a question, please don't answer it. Just say you don't understand, and I will reword it for you. Okay?
Okay.
Is there anything about your health that would interfere with your deposition testimony today?
No.
Then let's go to the issue at hand. Officer, you are here to give testimony regarding an incident that happened at the South Barkley Police Station on December 12 of last year, correct?
Yes.
There was an incident in which someone was kicking the door of the police station late at night. Is that correct?
Yes.
Officer, can you describe the noise that you heard?
It sounded like a person kicking a metal door.
What does a metal door being kicked sound like?
I can't describe the sound to you.
How hard was the door being kicked?
I can't answer that either.
How hard did it seem to you that someone was kicking the door?
I don't know.
When he lifted up his foot to kick the door, how did he lift it up?
I don't know what you mean.
You said in previous testimony that he somehow kept his balance and he lifted up his foot, went forward, and kicked the door. Is that what he did?
That's how it seemed to me.
After he kicked the door, did he step back and run at it again?
I don't remember.
Was he putting his foot right back down and kicking it over and over?
Yes, I believe so.
Do you know how many times he kicked the door before you stopped him?
I don't know.
What is on the other side of the door he was kicking?
There is a hallway.
Where does the hallway lead to?
It leads into the police station.
Was the sound of the door being kicked bothering you?
Yes, it was.
What was it about the sound that was bothering you?
He was kicking a metal door, and it was very loud and annoying.
Did you see him kick any other doors on the street that night?
No.
After you saw him kicking the police station door, what did you do?
I yelled at him to stop.
Where were you located when you yelled at him to stop kicking the door?
I was next to my vehicle.
Was your vehicle on the same side of the street as the police station door?
No, it wasn't.
When you yelled at him to stop, where on the street were you?
I was in front of a barber shop directly across the street.
Did anyone come out of the police station door when you yelled at him to stop?
No.
But you yelled loud enough for the person kicking the door to hear you. Is that right?
Yes.
What time was it when this incident occurred?
It was 3:24 a.m.
How many times did you yell at him to stop kicking the door, officer?
At least 5 or 6 times.
Okay, and so we have your 120 Q&A number 2, N in quotes, Target, Mr. Milton, Mr. Alva, and capital M in quotes. This will be 120 Q&A number 2, starts in the middle for 5 minutes. Could you just tell me again which direction north is so that we can get ourselves oriented here?
North is at the bottom of this diagram.
And could you go up to the diagram and mark a blue arrow pointing down with an N at the bottom of that area, sir?
Okay.
So then south would be up at the top of the diagram. Is that right?
Yes.
East would be on the left-hand side and west would be on the right-hand side. Is that right?
Yes.
How large would you say the Target store is from the back to the north to the south?
It is something like 400 feet, I believe.
How large is it from east to west?
As I recall, it is about 550 feet from east to west.
When you are on duty at your job at Target, do you use any kind of binoculars to help you see?
No, I do not.
Do you have to wear glasses or contacts of any kind?
No, I do not.
When you are at work at Target and on duty, part of your job as a store security officer is to follow people around the store who you believe are shoplifting from the store. Is that right?
Yes.
Do you stay a good distance from someone that is following you?
Yes, I do.
Are you far enough away that you can't hear what two people might be saying to each other?
There are times when I can hear and times when I cannot.
At the time you were following Mr. Milton and Mr. Alva through the Target store, how close would you say you were from them at all times?
I was at least 20 feet from them that afternoon in the store.
When you first saw Mr. Alva, how far away from him were you at the time?
I was about 20 to 30 feet away from him at the time I first noticed him.
But you were not using binoculars of any kind, is that right?
No, I wasn't.
Did you speak to Mr. Alva at that point?
No, I didn't.
At this same time, were you also near to where Mr. Milton was in the store?
I saw him once or twice, but I was not aware at that point that the two of them were in the store together.
Now, at the point here that is marked M, is that just a guess as to where you saw Mr. Alva at that time?
That is where I first spotted Mr. Milton, not Mr. Alva. The M is for Milton.
So, the first time that you became aware of Mr. Milton was when he and Mr. Alva were both in the garden department. Is that right?
Yes, that is correct.
And when Mr. Alva was down here in this area, and he was taking the items that you have listed here, Mr. Milton was nowhere to be seen. Is that right?
Yes, that is correct.
And for all you know, he could have been off buying a candy bar. Isn't that true?
I suppose he could have been.
Do you know one way or the other if Mr. Milton had any money with him when you stopped him outside of the store that afternoon?
I don't recall whether he did or not at this time.
Did you search him to see if he had any money with him?
I don't do searches for money.
What do you do searches for, sir?
I do searches for weapons and stolen property.
Did Mr. We'll get ready for your 100s. And so we have 100 Q&A number 1, Picasso and Kyle. Is it Kyle or Kylie? Kyle. Kyle. And this is going to be you all 100 test number 1, final for 5 minutes, and it starts in the middle. He will draw a boat, for example, and you can see that it is a boat.
Yes.
He is not yet a Picasso. Is that what you're saying?
I think you can tell what he is trying to draw.
Have any of his teachers told you that Kyle has problems with drawing pictures?
No. In fact, he does good in art, and he minds the teacher.
The teacher has told you that Kyle doesn't give her much trouble.
She says he minds her very well.
Has Kyle missed any time from school because of any of the problems you have talked about here today?
No, he hasn't.
He will be starting 6th grade in the fall. Is that right?
Yes.
Do you know which school he will be going to?
It will be a middle school.
Do you know which one it will be?
No, we are still waiting to hear.
Did Kyle ever complain to you of headaches before the accident?
No, he didn't.
The headaches started after the accident. Is that correct?
Yes.
Have you noticed any other kind of problem Kyle has been having?
I noticed that he has been throwing up a lot. I don't know if it has anything to do with the accident or not.
Does he have a flu or something like that?
Maybe he does. I don't know. But he threw up 4 times last week.
Did he ever have a problem like that before?
This is the first time we ever saw something like this in any of the kids.
To your knowledge, is he throwing up every day?
No, not that I know of.
How often does he do it?
I don't know. I'm not sure it has anything to do with the accident.
Does he have a temperature?
No.
Is this something that happens every few days?
Yes, and it wears him out.
I imagine it would. Does Kyle have trouble sleeping?
He sleeps a lot. He sleeps too much.
How many hours a night does he sleep?
He can go to bed at 5 and sleep through the night. If we don't wake him up in the morning, he will keep on sleeping.
Does he take naps in the afternoon?
No, he goes to school.
Does he take naps when he gets home from school?
I don't think so.
Before the accident, what was the normal time he went to bed?
He was in bed during the week no later than 9 o'clock.
What time do you wake him up to get ready for school in the morning?
We start to wake him up at 6 because it takes him so long to wake up and get ready for school.
What time do you get him out the door to go to school?
He is supposed to be in his first class by 8:45.
How far do you live from the school?
It is a 10-minute walk.
Does Kyle walk to school every day?
Some days he...
Okay, and then we have your last 100 Q&A. Carlton, Valley Middle School, Summer, and Dr. Wheeler. And this starts in the middle. This is going to be your 100 Q&A number 2 for 5 minutes. Starts in the middle. Prior to February of 2011, had there been any sibling rivalry between Carlton and his brothers and sisters?
Yes, there was some, but it seemed normal to me.
Had this rivalry resulted in violence between the children to your knowledge?
No, not to my knowledge.
Was it just the usual pushing and shoving that kids do?
Yes.
No one was ever injured due to the pushing and shoving?
No, not to my knowledge.
In February of 2012, where was Carlton attending school?
He was at Valley Middle School.
Have you seen the police report that was made as a result of this case?
If there was only one made, I've seen it.
Have you heard the recordings that were made of the statement given by Carlton?
Yes, I have.
How many of the recordings have you heard?
As far as I know, there is only one.
How long ago did you listen to the recording?
It was right after he was arrested.
It was the recording wherein Carlton makes a confession to the officers questioning him. Is that correct?
Yes.
Have you met or spoken with any of the doctors who examined Summer the night of the incident?
No.
Is it correct that there has recently been another incident involving your son and a dog?
Yes, that is correct.
That is the incident wherein he killed a dog with a baseball bat.
Yes, that is correct.
Isn't it true that your son, Carlton, has been involved in more than one violent incident involving animals?
Yes, that is correct.
Isn't it true that he has been in therapy for the violence he feels towards animals?
Yes, that is correct.
Is Dr. Wheeler the name of your son's current therapist?
Yes.
how often does your son have a session with Dr. Wheeler?
He is supposed to see him once a week.
Do you know when he last saw Dr. Wheeler?
He saw him a few weeks before the incident with Summer.
Is it true that Dr. Wheeler told you and your wife not to be too concerned about the fact that your son had deliberately killed a dog?
Where did you get that information?
Now, I don't know this for a fact, but I am asking you whether you know anything about it.
Yes, I do know something about it.
Is it a fact that you and your wife were told by Dr. Wheeler not to worry too much about the incident?
Yes, that is correct.
It also states in the police report of the incident that your son has been seen by 4 different psychologists. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Were these doctors who worked within the school district?
Yes.
Is Dr. Wheeler the only doctor your son has been seen by outside the school system?
Yes.
Do you know the names of the other doctors who have seen your son?
No, I don't, but I can get them for you.
Did these doctors see your son on the... Okay, you all, that concludes your finals. So make sure you type them up and abide by the timelines. They're due, everything's due Wednesday by midnight. I will send you emails as to when to register for next semester. And remember, you have access to EV360 up until the break, all throughout the break, okay? Good luck, you all. Have a great day.